Ho, ho. Ho, ho. I can't. Okay, well. Move. No, not now.
Good evening, Commodore. Good evening, Mike.
Good evening. We're having some technical difficulties at the moment.
You mean the guy behind the microphone there?
That's the one.
I'll go back to mute.
Okay, it says you're the host now. Okay, your image is live. You're just muted.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay. I've only done 8 meetings this weekend.
Uh-huh. And then we had John Ross join us.
Yes, I saw that, but he went away, or?
He muted. I told him we were having some technical difficulty.
Okay.
And there's Charlie.
Well, it's not about me anyway. Good evening, John Ross.
Good evening. How we doing?
Not bad.
Not bad. Hey, Mike.
Yes.
Are you guys going to get on orders in the next week or two?
That's our plan.
Okay. Just wondering, it was originally planned for like tomorrow.
I know.
But that's okay.
We had an issue that the OTO thought we didn't have anyone qualified to be coxswain.
Oh.
Because Charlie was supposed to, well, myself included, we were supposed to requal in 2020.
Ah.
And
they extended that, right? Didn't they extend that?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. But also the boat owner had filled out the coxswains that could be on his run his vessel.
Right.
And he misspelled Charlie Cohn's last name. Instead of C-O-H-N, he had C-O-H-E-N. But it had the right member number, but it's like he squashed the orders.
Oh, gee.
So we were starting over again.
Okay. That's why I never saw them. I don't see them on Ox Data until they're actually in the requested stage where they've gone up.
Right.
Still in the infancy. I don't see those yet. I thought they looked good.
Yeah. So I know I talked to the OIC at Morro Bay, and he was sending something to Sector to say that he wanted to do 2-boat training with our boat. So
yes, they know it. And, I got that through the ASC side.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So that part happened.
Right.
It's just getting us back on the water and a couple of days so that we can do a shakedown because
Right.
we haven't been on that boat in 2 years. So,
Well, you need two patrols,
right.
okay, to get that done. My recommendation is that you wait till next week. Don't try to do it. Don't try to squeeze it in this week.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Alrighty.
You're just a DSO, Commodore.
I'm sorry. Where is the, let's see, participant? Rick Ebel.
Please,
oh, here.
leave me.
I just put him in the waiting room.
Commodore Chris, may I come in? I just got off a church Zoom and I didn't have time.
Yes,
to
yes.
stay.
Yeah. Well, here's another one. I'm just going to send him.
You're gonna have a big waiting room.
No. Where'd it go? Come
Good
on,
afternoon.
Hi, Rudy.
How you doing?
Good.
Oh,
Doing Zoom via 101 freeway.
where'd Rick go? Oh.
I'm a passenger.
Yes. I got you. Yes.
Oh, okay. That was cold.
Yeah. So go ahead.
No,
You-
never mind.
You're the one that put on the invitation that uniform was Trops.
No, you know what? It wasn't me. Mm-mm,
He's hanging in there. He's hiding, but you know.
not this meeting.
Okay. Well, can we hang up since we're broadcasting to everybody anyway?
Yeah, we can. All right, bye.
So, if you want to mess with me, that's what happens.
Norm, where's your uniform?
Someone by the name of Charlie said, I'm going to wear my normal clothes. Jeez.
I had a peek.
Well, it looks like two people got the word. Maybe three. Rudy, are you in uniform?
I'm on the. I submit for an exemption since I'm on the 101 freeway headed back to home from
So,
LA.
so basically, the answer is no.
No.
And just to let you know, Charlie, we are live on YouTube, and there are 2 people that are watching.
All right. Is the meetings from this past weekend, are they on YouTube yet?
There is supposed to be on L2 coming out the first of the week with the proper link and everything. It should be on, it'll be on the national website's YouTube channel.
Okay.
But Commodore Formato was going to talk to Captain Johnson about sending an L2 out with the links for both the committee of the whole and the national board meeting.
Good, good. Yeah, it would be good for everybody to miss it, at least to check out the commandants and the vice commandants as well.
We had 24 stars there.
I heard that.
If you added them all up between the commandant, the vice commandant, 3 deputy commandants, 2 vice admirals, and a rear admiral. You count all the stars up, and there were like 24 stars there. Oh,
Impressive.
Yeah,
see how easy that was, Rick?
Yeah, it was easy.
So yeah, I mean, it was a good turnout. Could have been. I actually thought there'd be more, but that's fine. It's staying up on the YouTube channel for the national, the same site you went to. I know Rick. Oh, you were in the meeting, right, Rick?
Yes.
Okay. I know the OTO went there to watch it. The director did. Captain Bernstein did, or was going to, along with Commander. Come on, John. Roll off some of the command. Nugan?
No, Noggle.
Noggle. Okay, yeah, him. The
He
Cardinals.
wants to see everything.
And that's fine. You know, there's nothing top secret that we talk about. Usually when it's an admiral, we're not allowed to put it on, but he was told ahead of time that it was going to be on YouTube, and they signed off on it. So
Commander Keenan was on it too.
yeah, I sent it to her because she doesn't get those all the time.
No, I always forward it to her just in case.
I mean, I remember there were several times, oh, did you hear this? She goes, no, they leave us out of the loop.
Yeah.
Just like they didn't invite the Dyroxes to this. Whatever. So, but I did see several of them there on the YouTube side. So that was good.
Yep.
Boz, you're not here yet?
You better be in uniform too.
Hi, Ann.
Ann just got here from church. Leave her alone.
I just said hi, Ann. That's
Oh,
all
thought
I
you-
said, Commodore. Wow.
The tough crowd.
It is Saint Anne to you, Rick.
Yeah, you're right. It is.
Oh, gosh. Not yet. I'm not ready to go yet. Okay. Was there an agenda that was sent out for this meeting?
I didn't see one.
I didn't either. Okay.
It's really not a meeting. It's a, it's a class.
Oh, okay. Is Boz at bat today?
He is.
Oh, great.
Everybody on this call get their shot yet?
Hi, everybody.
No.
Hi, Randy.
Tuesday.
I got my first one. I get my second one on Tuesday.
I got both of mine.
Good.
Randy, did you have any bad reactions or did it all sail smoothly?
No, I had just slight tenderness on the second one. On the first one, I didn't have anything at all.
Which one did you get? Which one did you get?
The Moderna.
Yeah, I didn't get anything out of mine. Mine were just nothing.
My wife got sort of flu-like symptoms, headaches and backaches and muscle aches, but she's better now. It only lasts a couple of days.
My wife and I got the Pfizer and we didn't have any reaction at all. It was like
I didn't either.
Now the Pfizer is the single shot.
No,
No, that's
the
not out yet.
Oh,
That's going to be the J&J.
Johnson & Johnson.
right.
Yeah, they said that was going to be done in December in 2 weeks. In 2 weeks into January, 2 more weeks. And here we are at the end of February and it's still 2 weeks away. Something's going wrong with it.
it's called a floating 2-week window.
Yeah.
Loading, yeah.
Kind of like what I chased for the last since March of last year, only it was a buoy. It just kind of, there it is. Okay, get ready. Here we go. Oh, a good stiff wind blows it out of the way.
Yeah. I heard that today Mary Jo had the COVID last week.
Oh, yeah?
She's apparently she's okay.
Good. I just want to wish Mr. Carver a happy birthday. Today is your birthday. Is that not correct?
No, that's correct. You got it right.
All right.
Happy birthday, Alan.
I hate it when I get these pop up in my calendars to find out that it's like, what?
Yeah, if you notice on his screen, you'll see some music to his right. I guess we got to sing happy birthday.
Oh.
If you think I'm going to accompany you, you're crazy.
Can you share your screen, Alan, so we know the words?
There are no words that count.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes, happy birthday.
I did get a very interesting present. My son found an old 100-year-old clarinet that he sent down to me.
Wow.
Goes back to the 1920s, we think. I'm still trying to trace the serial number.
So it won't play any of the newer songs?
No, it kind of goes dead at Mersey Oats.
Clay, how are you?
I'm doing very good. Thank you, Mom. Nom.
You in a helicopter in front of the base, floating over the channel?
Hello, Mike. How are you, Mike?
I'm doing good. How about you, Quay?
I'm doing very well. Thank you, sir.
Good to see you this evening. You too, Robert.
Thanks, Mike. I have myself muted, which is probably a good thing because I sometimes talk too much, right?
No one's ever accused you of that, Robert.
Oh, I'm a man of few words. Okay, thank you.
Well,
I like to be of fewer words.
Is whatever you resemble what remark.
Good one. Good one. I got to share something with you. Yesterday, I was on patrol with Dave Van Bunker, and I thought I'd be nice, and I brought him some donuts in the morning. And I said, these are low-calorie donuts. The low calories in the center where you don't see the donut. And he goes, well, I'm on a diet. And he goes, well, if you want to see your waistline, you actually have to eat the donuts.
That's right.
So if you watch your waistline, eat donuts. And I thought that was very clever.
Yes.
Hey, Charlie, I find out they were cleaning out the closets down at the director's office, and the FedEx dropped this on my doorstep.
Oh, show it again. Talk while you're showing it so you stay on the screen.
Okay. Kind of, they were cleaning out the closet down at the director's office. And I guess since we don't have D trains anymore or any other meetings, they let FedEx just drop this on my doorstep.
Very nice. 50
What
years.
is it? What's it for? I can't see the bottom.
50 years of service.
Wow. Whoa.
Oh, congratulations.
You know, Alan, you don't look old enough. In fact, happy birthday for your what, 39th birthday?
Yeah, 39 for the 39th time.
Yeah, I'm not even that old. I'm not even that old. Holy cow.
That's quite a milestone, Alan.
Wow.
Yeah.
I want to say hi
Yeah.
to my favorite teacher, Ann Joffe. Hello, Ann.
Hi, Robert. Thank you for acknowledging. You know, that's why I joined this group a long time ago, because I wanted to teach. Still doing it. So
Yes.
thank you, Robert.
You're welcome. You're the best.
Oh, well, thank you.
So I heard they had to pull Alan out of his kindergarten class so he could join the auxiliary.
And I like your uniform. You look very
Thank you
pretty
very
in it.
much. It's the new thing for winter
I was
dress.
just going to say, that's the winter uniform, dark blue.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Everybody's been waiting to see that.
We don't have very many people on here if that should be on here. It's only got 16 people.
Yeah, and our instructor is not here. Who has Boz's number? You can text him and find out. where he's
Okay.
at.
Hey, Charlie, I was having some connection problems getting on. It took me about 10 minutes. And a couple times it threw up a message that said incorrect address. So there may be an internet problem.
Yeah, everybody got the same link. That doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it finally went through, but it took about 5 tries.
Huh.
Yeah, I had no problem. It came right up.
I'm not getting any text from anybody. Anybody else getting anything?
Yeah, I just sent one to Boz.
Okay.
Well, he could be like me. I didn't even know what day it was.
He said he'll be on in 5.
Okay.
Between the 2 board meetings and getting ready for them, this is like my 8th Zoom call since Thursday.
Wow.
Between having to meet with the Commodore's aide and get that straightened out a day before, and then come back the morning before and do a double check. And yeah, it's good thing my wife's not home, because I brought all my stuff home, so I'm in my living room. And she comes home Thursday, so I'm still debating whether I leave it set up and let her just freak out, or
Oh, you did a great job on that, Chris. Both of those meetings went well.
they did.
Yeah,
A
they
lot of
did.
information came out of it too.
Yeah.
I just wish there'd been more people that would take advantage of listening to the 21 stars give their reports and accolades about the auxiliary.
As soon as that L2 comes out, people can go. I mean, you can go there now. To be honest with you, they are up and posted. They should be on. You have to go to the National Conference Staff YouTube channel and click on the tab that says videos, and they're both right there. And the Admiral is roughly about 15 minutes into this national board meeting. But we had admirals on Friday too.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Here's Boz now.
Hi, boss.
Good evening. You guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah.
How many people registered, Chris?
I think we're at 21 or 22, yeah?
I think there was 21 on the list, and then Dave and Randy registered today. So there was going to be 23. Right now, I got 4 people in each breakout room. And I got 1 more room left.
All right, Mike, are you ready to go? I don't really have anything. This is just all yours tonight.
Okay, just mention Jim Ziegler reached out to me about half hour ago. He's not able to make it this evening.
Hang on, let me make you a co-host so you can do your thing. Computer. All right, sir. The floor is all yours.
Okay, the only other question I'm going to ask, Jim and a couple others that couldn't make it asked if this is going to be recorded tonight, so I assume it is.
Yes, I am recording it and I'm live streaming it right now. So I got you're good.
All right, I'm going to steal your screen now.
Yep.
Let me know if you guys can see that.
Yeah. Enable others to act. Yep.
All right, very good. Great, well, thank you. I'm going to provide just a little bit of introduction on my behalf, just to help put my comments in context so you know where they're coming from. So as a way of introduction, before the Coast Guard, I spent a career in business management, specifically banking and capital markets around strategy and large technology projects primarily. And worked at a company called Accenture for over 20 years, which we took public in 01 and retired in 05. But at that time, we were the largest management consulting firm in the world. I looked after our banking and capital markets practice. And back then, that was about $1 billion practice, over 10,000 people. And when I reflect on all that, the thing I think I'm most proud of was our commitment to a stewardship culture. We did some great things for clients. I think we did some great things for our people and, of course, their families. But the notion of taking on something and leaving it better than when we found it was a real mainstay. And discussion around lead by example and character and courage to change were everyday vernacular. And I think all those things are very applicable right now in the Coast Guard Auxiliary. So those things feel very natural to me, and I think, if anything, this discussion will be colored with that kind of background. Since then, when I retired, I spent a lot of time riding on a motorcycle, search and rescue work up north, and teaching as an adjunct professor at USC. Guest lectured at LMU and corporate boards, and again, that was around strategy and corporate governance, but also leadership. So a lot of what I've incorporated tonight has come from some of that background. I've also essentially wrapped that background around a section from AMLOC called Enable Others to Act. So those of you who've been through AMLOC, the mid-level officer course, you'll recognize some familiar slides, but hopefully augmented enough, you'll see a lot that you haven't heard or seen before. And for those that you haven't been to AMLOC, this is a robust introduction to that section. So with that, let me give you the agenda. We're going to break this discussion up over 2 DELAs. So tonight we'll cover empowerment and motivation, and that'll probably run us about an hour and change, and then come back next month and spend time on peak performance leadership styles. So that's the plan for this this session. Okay, so from a starter, we talk about enabling others to act, and this is really kind of a Coast Guard view, but it's not all that different from anything else I've been involved in, and that is the progress or the potential to get folks to work together, and helping folks to work together to accomplish great things starts with collaboration, and that's really kind of a paramount and sits as a pivotal point to this progress towards good things. So you need to have collaboration to really get to extraordinary results. And that's, as leaders, that's what we're here for. We're here to enable our folks, to help our people, so that as a group, we can do more than what we could alone. And we define that as extraordinary results. But it doesn't stop there. And I think this is a pity, because most people understand this. They understand how important collaboration is. They understand that that needs to be there to do things greater than any what one person can do. But we emphasize in AMLOC the notion of true collaboration. And what we mean by true collaboration is a collaborative environment that you developed as a leader that really starts with a good relationship and trust. So collaborating doesn't necessarily get you over the goal line, but this notion of true collaboration based in relationships and trust, you as a leader as well amongst your people, is absolutely paramount and really is the only way we think that gets you to the top line. So keep that in the back of your mind as we go through this, because that's a that's a slide that's going to be hopefully burnt into your cerebral cortex when we get to the end of this thing. The other thing I want to share with you, and this is a quote around enabling others to act. This is another, I'll say, kind of a style point that is becoming more and more part of everyday, business management and consulting and kind of leadership thinking. And that is what we can do in the small moments. Before every interaction with every person, you need to ask yourself, what can you do in this moment to make others feel more powerful, more competent, and able or capable to do more than they think they can? If you can do that as a leader, that's about all you can do for somebody. But the subtle difference here is really breaking this down to the little moments. That one phone call or that one discussion after a flotilla meeting. Recognize that that interaction, with each interaction, you can have a pretty significant impact on someone's life, and you can enable or disable people in that moment. So that needs to be top of mind, and that's what the savvy leaders think about. So as background, I'll leave that there and jump into empowerment. We'll spend a little time on empowerment, but the most of the time tonight on motivation. So I've got a couple definitions there of empowerment. This probably doesn't shake anybody's ground, but just wanted to include that. And when we think about empowerment, and kind of the key word there is power, and what makes other people feel powerful. And that's really what empowerment is about at its most elementary level. So we're going to do a breakout session here in a minute. And what that's going to be about is really thinking about a time when someone else's statement or action made you feel powerful. So we want to make this personal to you. It's one thing to say, look, as leaders, you want to enable people, you want to make them feel powerful, and that's going to be critical to you and their success in your relationship. But I think to really embrace that, make it personal, and think about a time where you felt powerful and someone did or said something to make you powerful. And likewise, think about a time or situation where someone made you feel powerless and how that made you feel and what they did either intently or maybe without intent to make you feel that way. So, power is a big piece to this section, and thinking about the behaviors that make people feel powerful. That's really what brings them at their best. That's when they think they're most confident, they're most positive, and that's when they get committed. And that's going to be an art form for some. It's going to be easy for others, but understanding that process and the influence you can have as a leader to make someone feel that way, I think is really worth pondering here. And making people feel capable and valued, that's at the heart of that relationship and trust thing we talked about at the top of the hour that we really need for true collaboration and extraordinary results. So we're going to kind of double click here on power and spend some time really understanding this, and like I said, put a bit of a personal touch to it. So we'll start with a quick breakout session. We've got, I think Chris, you said 4 or 5 breakout sessions. There'll be only 4 or 5 people in each section. And, want you folks to kind of share and this could be in the auxiliary, this could be at work, this could be at church, anywhere. About a time where someone made you feel powerful, and what did you learn from that situation? And likewise, when someone made you feel powerless. And of course, the impact, how'd that make you feel? What kind of productivity or what effect did that have on your morale, et cetera, and vice versa. So I'll leave this up for the 10-minute breakout. So let's start by just breaking out in small sessions and coming up with thoughts around these. And then we'll come back, do a little debrief, discuss as a group. And what I'm going to ask each group to do is just, come back with some common thoughts from the group. Don't necessarily need individual stories unless you think they're important, and we can learn from those. But what were kind of the common experiences on both ends, powerful and powerless? And perhaps there's something shocking or new or surprising in that discussion. If there was, please share that with the group as well. So that's this will get us started. So Chris,
all right. I will. And you said 10 minutes, Mike?
Yeah.
All right. And in 10 minutes, come back or I'll come kick everybody out. So here you go. Off to Oz. And all right. I need to put you in a breakout room, Robert.
Copy that, sir.
Come on. I've got them in breakout rooms now. Can I do it here? Come on. So, okay, you might have to sit out this one because I've already started the breakout rooms.
Okay. I just got back from drill.
Okay. You got 9 minutes yet, and they'll come back. I can't let you in once I started a breakout room. So you got 9 minutes, and then
Okay.
I'll put you in the next one.
Copy that, sir.
All right.
So Chris, are we all back now?
Yes, you're back.
All right, great. Yeah, 10 minutes always happens faster than you think. So I'm going to steal the screen here.
Okay.
Off. There we go. Great. So if we could, let's start. We had, I think, 4 breakout rooms. Is that right?
Yeah.
Now let's just start. Let's just do them in order. If breakout room 1 can just spend a couple minutes sharing what you guys heard. Again, either common themes or surprises in terms of both what made the group feel powerful versus powerless. Like to hear from you.
I'll start. Go ahead, Charlie.
Just one comment first, Boz, is we did not have your slide available when we got into the room.
I recognize that now. How'd you guys do?
We did great. We did great because I wrote it all down. I never trust those machines. I'll just start by saying we had the best group by far. And you asked anything that was shocking, all 4 of us were able to share a negative experience and talk about how that made us feel. And that was shocking. Well, it was nice. It was really nice. But we talked about where the statements came from, peers, bosses, parents, and so forth.
Any common threads?
Yeah, I think, and maybe one of you other guys want to comment on it. It seems to me the common thread was the feeling of being belittled by somebody, and it made us feel really bad. And we think that a lot of people who are ineffective leaders or managers belittle their subordinates, as it were, in order to gain power. Did I miss anything, you guys?
Ignore it as well. Belittle and or ignore it.
So that was our group. We were terrific.
Yeah, very positive introduction, but yet focused on the negative. And that's not uncommon. I mean, we can learn as much from those negative experiences, if not more, than we can from powerful ones.
Can I add something in there, Mike?
Of course.
Anne didn't put the other half in there. I think all 4 of us came up with some very positive statements in our lives that helped us do better and be more committed to what we were doing. So it was equal all the way around. Each one of us had a little bit of a slightly different attitude, but it was all the pat on the back really helped us out to go do better things.
Yeah. And that's kind of what's one of the key takeaways here is there's lots of different ways to make people feel powerful, a lot of different ways to make people feel powerless, but the feeling you get when you're made powerful is pretty uniform. You feel stronger, you feel more confident, you're willing to take risks, and they've got your back. So that's these are that feeling you get, the impact that it had on you and its productivity. It's a pretty universal response, although there's 100 ways to get there. Great, thank you, John. Room 2, you guys like to share what you guys talked about, and again, any common themes or surprises?
Group 2.
Yeah, group 2 or room 2.
Room 2 was myself, Quayfo, and Norm Bundick, and we spent more time talking about the powerful feelings. And Norm started out with an example of when he was recognized for helping to revitalize Division 12 and to have the people tell him that they appreciated all of his efforts. And then we had Quay talking about an event at work where the senior manager, when they were handling hazardous material, had to stop something because there was a danger element. And then I talked about recognizing Quay, since he ran the division meeting earlier this week, and it was the first meeting of that he's run Division 4, and just recognizing that he did a good job, and that I also talked to or sent an email to the division commander who was unable to attend due to being at work, to also pass on to Quay that he did a good job that evening. So I guess giving someone the tools and letting them do the job, and then recognizing that they did a good job.
Yes, I mean, a couple of great examples of making someone feel powerful, and it can happen after the fact, right?
Absolutely.
As you gave, and that's certainly a powerful way to lead, and we do a lot of that, I think, through recognition awards. But there's also, and this maybe takes a little bit more technique, and it takes a little bit more thoughtfulness from the leader, is to making sure you're giving the right messages to make someone feel powerful before they act, before you ask them to do something.
Right.
We'll talk more about that in the next section about motivation, but know that power enablement, if you will, can take place up front, obviously throughout. You don't necessarily need to wait till after it's over. You can be even more influential if it's done early on in the exercise.
Right. We also did,
go ahead.
We also did cover some things about feeling powerless, and some of it is being given the authority, but maybe not all the directions as to what's expected or the tools to get it, and then having it pulled away and just feeling like, well, man, I was set up to be a failure, and how that feels. Norm, anything else? And after that, Quay?
No, you covered it pretty well.
All right, great. Thanks, guys. Let's go to room 3.
Randy Wesson, Rick Ebel, Robert Hamming, and Rudy.
Well, I guess I'll talk to our group. We had a bit of a discussion about obviously powerful and powerless. And some of the things that we felt make us feel powerful is when somebody says something that means something and changes your life, gets you to act in a different way, or being given the authority to make a decision when a decision needs to be made. Not saying, well, no, I can't make that decision, I'll have to get back to you. And those particular instances do happen, but when a decision needs to be made, probably one of the worst decisions you can make is to not make the decision, right or wrong. And if the decision you make is wrong, you can come back and fix it. There's almost no decision that can't be fixed. Some of the stuff, and guys, Rudy and Robert, please chime in. For me to feel powerless is when you're in a position that you think you're supposed to be responsible for something, and then somebody comes in and tells you, no, they report to me instead. And then you kind of sit back and think, well, gee, what am I here for? And that's a really powerful, just making you feel real powerless. And at least it did for me. And Rudy, you had some comments?
Yeah, I just want to say, Rick, that sometimes when you are going, like the example I gave is transition to a new system, there's a learning curve, and you understand and sympathize with the fact that they have to learn a brand new system, and they're going through a lot of growing pains, a lot of storming. But you just got to give them the same guidance that you gave yourself, because you're going through the exact same thing, learning a new system, and you share your experiences, and you also lead them on to get better training, better informed.
In
that case, full powerless, and you got to help empower people too, just like you self-empowered yourself to learn.
And Robert, what were those 3 words your mother told you as a child?
Well, she was an influential person on me, obviously. And it says, always be kind, always be honest, and never be afraid. And I'll tell you, I had my fears before that. I was a young kid. But those 3 words stuck with me. And I try to live by that. So I just want to make a comment on our breakout room. We had mostly positive stories, I think, to tell. So I think that was very, very good to learn from each other.
Yeah. I like Mom's advice. We could use a lot more of that these days.
Yeah.
Great. All right. Thanks, guys. And y'all, whether you know it or not, you're writing the next chapter for me. So I think we're hitting on a lot of the right kind of stuff in terms of, opportunities and skills and the authority to get something done. Without that, it's not terribly motivating. Let's go to room 4. You guys have a recap on your discussion?
Yeah, I think Sal and William can jump in there as well. But one of the things we talked about was making people feel powerful, was like being willing to delegate important tasks to them. The praise, if they're doing a good job, or, if they've done something extraordinary, being able to praise them and recognize their accomplishments. Also, Sal brought up some good points about, being a good boss is being able to listen, especially when somebody's viewpoint may not quite mesh with yours. Maybe they got a better way of doing things, and at least being open to being listening and being positive about their contributions also helps build up morale and makes that people feel more empowered. And then on the other side of it, also William had mentioned about working together as a team. Coming from his background, that was a real strong thing. Being able to trust each other as part of a team, and basically pushing forward the culture of the team. The team succeeds, everybody gets the praise, everybody has done well. And then the only things we really had on the negative side was just we all had bosses at one time or another who didn't think you were going to succeed, or basically were running down the group, or just not, praising us or giving us any positive reinforcement. And that had a really negative effect on morale. It made people not want to do the work, and just kind of dragging around when there was work to be done. And then also, I think also bosses not listening. You think you're the expert on the subject, or you may have some knowledge on the subject that you want to share, but the boss is completely unwilling to listen. That kind of makes you feel bad. It feels like you're not empowered, and your opinions aren't being listened to. So that was about it. And I think Sal and William can also jump in.
Yeah, that's fine. I agree with all of David. So that's what we discussed. Thank you very much. Nothing else to add.
Willem, any parting shots?
You're muted, Willem.
Yeah, that's what we discussed about that, about team. And sometimes we have boss that think they know everything, even though as a worker, we doing mostly what the tasks, and a lot of things is so technical, and they don't know what they're talking about. And but they're the one make decision, and just not good feeling about putting down, and we cannot do our job like we're supposed to.
Thank you. Yeah, so the idea of being ignored and not listened to is about as disabling as you can be as a leader. So we need to keep that in mind and let them know that not only are you listening, but you believe in them. There's probably nothing more empowering than that. So I think we covered all the groups. Chris, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think we left anybody out. If not, let's move on to the next section. And the empowerment piece is not terribly complicated, not hard to understand, but worthwhile visiting. And again, that exercise was just really meant to have you all reflect a little bit on a personal basis, the idea of when someone made you feel powerful and powerless, and how devastatingly disabling that can be. So that's, to me, kind of a good introduction to motivation. And we're going to spend the rest of the time tonight on motivation. This could be an entire college course. This could be easily 13 weeks worth of discussion that we're gonna cram down in about 30 or 40 minutes here. But that's this notion of empowerment is obviously part of that, but it's a much more robust discussion. So again, I've given you some definitions here just for background. Along with motivation, there are a number of theories out there. There's a number of folks who've written some brilliant forward-thinking books and white papers. This obviously is an ongoing academic topic, and certainly a big topic in the business world and business consulting. And we're not going to try and collapse all those into one, nor are we going to pick one of these that's on the page. But we are going to enlist Mr. Pink, and I'll introduce him to you here in a second. And we are going to go over a particular motivation theory that has been chosen, and I think, frankly, one of the most applicable theories and insights for what we do with the Coast Guard. Now, having said that, I think what we'll go over here is, equally applicable to your personal life, not just the auxiliary. I think it's applicable, the messages here and the techniques here in business, with your kids. Teaching this class, we talk about, this is some really good marriage counseling advice in here if you read between the lines. But just want to make sure you knew that we are focusing on just one motivation theory, and I think it happens to be one that's current, one that's, I think, very well respected, and one that I think is infinitely applicable to our world in the auxiliary. So with that as an introduction, I'm going to give you one more quote. Gloria Mark is a local professor in the Department of Informatics at UC Irvine. And she's probably got a couple hundred papers to her credit around researching the social effect on computing and the social impacts of digital media. And she states here that we're interrupted every 3 minutes, in your business world. And her parting shot here, the mindful leader is going to take advantage of those. And each one of those moments is an opportunity to enable or, disable somebody. So similar to the quote I started out the discussion with, but just more academic research that really appreciates and wants to send the message that it's the little moments that can be incredibly impactful as a leader, as well as the big ones and the big speeches and the big movements. So this is a lifestyle, not just a work style. Okay, let's get to the meat of this. How do you motivate your people? And we're going to suggest you're going to do that by creating an environment to promote three things. And we're going to spend the rest of the time talking about autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And if I played back some of the comments that you just provided me around what made you feel powerful or what made you feel powerless, more than half of those comments I could easily drop into one of these three categories. So let's double click on these and talk about each one. Autonomy, as in the theory's words, is really a sense of self-direction is motivating. Giving someone some sovereignty, some control over what they do, when they do it, and and of course how they do it. Extremely important piece to the puzzle of empowerment and motivation. Mastery is a sense of getting better at something that matters, not just building a skill, but something that you feel matters to you, and getting feedback on something that's important and making progress. That is a huge motivator for folks, more than I think we can appreciate. And hopefully by the end of this, I'll solve that puzzle for you. And then of course, purpose, no, not simply how to do something, but why you're doing it in the first place. And these are the three things that if you're going to write something down from our hour together tonight, these, write down AMP. These are the things that I'm going to want you hopefully to start thinking about when you're addressing your folks, when you need to motivate a new project or a new group of people, that you're hitting on all three of these cylinders. And on the purpose front, just as a side note, this didn't advance here. Maybe it's on the right. I can't see on the right-hand screen. There's if you heard of Simon Sinek, you probably heard about a TED talk around how great leaders inspire. He's got a concept called the golden circle, and puts why at the center of everything, on both how to communicate, how to influence, how to sell, as opposed to the what or the how. And if that's something that you haven't seen, it's about an 18-minute TED talk. It was done in 2009 and another one in 2010. It's got over 50 million views and has really been embraced by the leadership, academic world, and by the business world. In fact, entire businesses and consulting have been kind of wrapped around this very simple concept of the golden circle and the emphasis on why that's so important, the purpose in influencing people. So I've given you a little tag at the bottom. Google that, and invest 18 minutes in this TED Talk, and I will guarantee you that it'll be some of the most meaningful 18 minutes from a leadership perspective that I think you could absorb that's out there today on the internet. All right, autonomy, mastery, and purpose. I'm going to show you about an 11-minute video. This is Mr. Daniel Pink. He's got a book out, about half a dozen books, but his kind of breakthrough book, as you can see here, is called Drive. And you'll hear him speak, and kind of a fun way to go through this, but some really enlightening, I think, findings in terms of what motivates people. So I'm going to bring that up now. I'm able. Bear with me. All right, so can everybody see RSA Animate on your screen? Give me a thumbs up if you can see RSA Animate.
It says the surprise truth about what motivates us. It's the title slide.
All right, let me see.
This is a PowerPoint.
All right, give me 1 sec. Let me share this guy. All right, how about now?
Yeah.
It's ready to go. You just need to click it.
Yep, good. All right, here we go.
Our motivations are unbelievably interesting. I mean, I've been working on this for a few years, and I just find the topic still so amazingly engaging and interesting. So I want to tell you about that. The science is really surprising. The science is a little bit freaky, okay? We are not as endlessly manipulable and as predictable as you would think. There's a whole set of unbelievably interesting studies. I want to give you two that call into question this idea that if you reward something, you get more of the behavior you want. If you punish something, you get less of it. So let's go from London to the mean streets of Cambridge, Massachusetts, in the northeastern part of the United States. And let's talk about a study done at MIT, Massachusetts Institute of Technology. Here's what they did. They took a whole group of students and they gave them a set of challenges. Things like memorizing strings of digits, solving word puzzles, other kinds of spatial puzzles, even physical tasks like throwing a ball through a hoop. Okay, they gave them these challenges and they said to incentivize their performance, they gave them 3 levels of rewards. Okay, so if you did pretty well, you got a small monetary reward. If you did medium well, you got a medium monetary reward. And if you did really well, if you were one of the top performers, you got a large cash prize. Okay, we've seen this movie before. This is essentially a typical motivation scheme within organizations, right? We reward the very top performers, we ignore the low performers, and the other folks kind of in the middle. Okay, you get a little bit. So what happens? They do the test, they have these incentives. Here's what they found out. 1, as long as the task involved only mechanical skill, bonuses worked as they would be expected. The higher the pay, the better their performance. Okay, that makes sense. But here's what happens. But once the task called for even rudimentary cognitive skill, a larger reward led to poorer performance. Now, this is strange, right? A larger reward led to poorer performance. How can that possibly be? Now, what's interesting about this is that these folks here who did this are all economists, 2 at MIT, 1 at the University of Chicago, 1 at Carnegie Mellon, okay, the top tier of the economics profession. And they're reaching this conclusion that seems contrary to what a lot of us learned in economics, which is that the higher the reward, the better their performance. And they're saying that once you get above rudimentary cognitive skill, it's the other way around, which seems like this kind of, the idea that these rewards don't work that way seems vaguely left-wing and socialist, doesn't it? It's kind of this kind of weird socialist conspiracy. For those of you who have those conspiracy theories, I want to point out the notoriously left-wing socialist group that financed the research, the Federal Reserve Bank. So this is the mainstream of the mainstream coming to a conclusion that's quite surprising. It seems to defy the laws of behavioral physics. So this is strange, a strange finding. So what do? They say, this is freaky. Let's go test it somewhere else. Maybe that $50 or $60 prize isn't sufficiently motivating for an MIT student, right? So let's go to a place where $50 is actually more significant relatively, right? So let's take the experiment. We're going to go to Madurai, India, rural India, where $50, $60, whatever the number was, is actually a significant sum of money. So they replicated the experiment in India roughly as follows. Small rewards, the equivalent of 2 weeks' salary. Small performance, low performance, 2 weeks' salary, medium performance, about a month's salary, high performance, about 2 months' salary. Okay, so those are real good incentives. Okay, so you're going to get a different result here. Well, what happened though was that the people offered the medium reward did no better than the people offered the small reward. But this time around, the people offered the top reward, they did worst of all. Higher incentives led to worse performance. What's interesting about this is that it actually isn't all that anomalous. This has been replicated over and over and over again by psychologists, by some extent by sociologists, and by economists, over and over and over again. For simple, straightforward tasks, those kinds of incentives, if you do this, then you get that, they're great. For tasks that are algorithmic, set of rules where you have to just follow along and get a right answer, if then rewards, carrots and sticks, outstanding. But when the task gets more complicated, when it requires some conceptual creative thinking, those kinds of motivators demonstrably don't work. In fact, money is a motivator at work, but in a slightly strange way. If you don't pay people enough, they won't be motivated. What's curious about, there's another paradox here, which is that the best use of money as a motivator is to pay people enough to take the issue of money off the table. Pay people enough so that they're not thinking about money and they're thinking about the work. Now, once you do that, it turns out there are 3 factors that the science shows lead to better performance, not to mention personal satisfaction. Autonomy, mastery, and purpose. Autonomy is our desire to be self-directed, to direct our own lives. Now, in many ways, traditional notions of management run afoul of that. Management is great if you want compliance, but if you want engagement, which is what we want in the workforce today as people are doing more complicated, sophisticated things, self-direction is better. Let me give you some examples of this, of almost radical forms of self-direction in the workplace that lead to good results. Let's start with this company right here, Atlassian, an Australian company. It's a software company, and they do something really cool. Once a quarter on a Thursday afternoon, they say to their developers, for the next 24 hours, you can work on anything you want. You can work on it the way you want. You can work on it with whomever you want. All we ask is that you show the results to the company at the end of those 24 hours in this fun kind of meeting, not a star chamber session, but this fun meeting with beer and cake and fun and other things like that. It turns out that that one day of pure undiluted autonomy has led to a whole array of fixes for existing software, a whole array of ideas for new products that otherwise had never emerged. One day. Now, this is not an if-then incentive. This is not the sort of thing that I would have done 3 years ago before I knew this research. I would have said, you want people to be creative and innovative? Give them a freaking innovation bonus. If you can do something cool, I'll give you $2,500. They're not doing this at all. They're essentially saying, you probably want to do something interesting. Let me just get out of your way. One day of autonomy produces things that had never emerged. All right, let's talk about mastery. Mastery is our urge to get better at stuff. We like to get better at stuff. This is why people play musical instruments on the weekend. You got all these people who are acting in ways that seem irrational economically. They play musical instruments on weekends. Why? It's not going to get them a mate. It's not going to make them any money. Why are they doing it? Because it's fun, because you get better at it, and that's satisfying. Go back in time a little bit. I imagine this if I went to my first economics professor, a woman named Mary Alice Schulman, and I went to her in 1983 and said, Professor Schulman, can I talk to you after class for a moment? Yeah. I got this inkling. I got this idea for a business model. I just want to run it past you. Here's how it would work. You get a bunch of people around the world who are doing highly skilled work, but they're willing to do it for free and volunteer their time, 20, sometimes 30 hours a week. Okay, she's looking at you somewhat skeptically there. Oh, but I'm not done. And then what they create, they give it away rather than sell it. It's going to be huge. I mean, she truly would have thought I was insane. Okay, it seemed to fly in the face of so many things. But what do you have? You have Linux powering 1 out of 4 corporate servers in Fortune 500 companies, Apache powering more than the majority of web servers, Wikipedia. What's going on? Why are people doing this? Why are these people, many of whom are technically sophisticated, highly skilled people who have jobs? Okay, they have jobs. They're working at jobs for pay, doing sophisticated technological work. And yet, during their limited discretionary time, they do equally, if not more, technically sophisticated work, not for their employer, but for someone else for free. That's a strange economic behavior. Economists who looked into it, why are they doing this? It's overwhelmingly clear. Challenge and mastery, along with making a contribution. That's it. What you see more and more is a rise of what you might call the purpose motive. Is that more and more organizations want to have some kind of transcendent purpose, partly because it makes coming to work better, partly because that's the way to get better talent. And what we're seeing now is, in some ways, when the profit motive becomes unmoored from the purpose motive, bad things happen. Bad things ethically sometimes, but also bad things just like not good stuff, like crappy products, like lame services, like uninspiring places to work. That when the profit motive is paramount, or when it becomes completely unhitched from the purpose motive, it's just, people don't do great things. More and more organizations are realizing this and sort of disturbing the categories between what's profit and what's purpose. And I think that actually heralds something interesting. And I think that the organizations that are flourishing, whether they're profit, for profit, or somewhere in between, are animated by this purpose motive. Let me give you a couple of examples. Here's the founder of Skype. He says, our goal is to be disruptive, but in the cause of making the world a better place. Pretty good purpose. Here's Steve Jobs. I want to put a ding in the universe. All right? That's the kind of thing that might get you up in the morning and racing to go to work. So I think that, that we are purpose maximizers, not only profit maximizers. I think the science shows that we care about mastery very, very deeply. And the science shows that we want to be self-directed. And I think that the big takeaway here is that if we start treating people like people and not assuming that they're simply horses, slower, smaller, better smelling horses, if we get past this kind of ideology of carrots and sticks and look at the science, I think we can actually build organizations and work lives that make us better off. But I also think they have the promise to make our world just a little bit better.
All right, let me bring up. All right, can you guys hear me and see the slide on your?
No, you need to share
right.
again.
No, that just knocks that off for some reason.
All right, now we're back on your desktop.
Great. Okay, let's get this in play mode. Okay, that's a lot to take in 11 minutes, but there's some good stuff there. So I just want to spend a little time recapping and kind of re-emphasizing these three pieces to the puzzle here. Let's go forward here. So the three factors that lead to better performance and personal satisfactions. You talked about at the end there, autonomy, mastery, and purpose. And you heard him talk about, you know, the desire to be self-directed. And that's really a key takeaway here. The Atlassian software company, what an extraordinary example of empowerment and getting extraordinary results. So, you know, if you want engagement, and this is, we'll talk about engagement here in a moment, but part of our challenge, I think, in auxiliary is to get people engaged. This really suggests the way you do that, self-directed is the best way. There's a lot of ways to motivate people, but providing autonomy and getting people self-directed is absolutely one of the best to get folks engaged and to deliver for you. In terms of mastery, that's pretty straightforward. I'm going to double click and go into mastery here a little bit. So you heard the examples there and tried to explain why people are willing to work hard, sometimes harder, for free. And it's really because of the challenge that they enjoy, the mastery, and making a contribution. And I've underlined making a contribution here because I don't think it was emphasized enough. You know, you can go out of your way as a leader and provide autonomy, mastery, and purpose, and make sure they got the right skills to do the job, the right environment, be very supportive. But at the end of the day, if they don't feel like they're making a contribution, you know, you've got a problem. And in fact, you know, on a personal note, you know, we have a problem at times in our surface ops boat crew program. We do a lot of training and a lot of discipline to learn the skills of being out there on the water to help people. But, you know, if we don't get called out, it's hard for some folks to feel like they're contributing. Now, there's other ways to contribute. You can emphasize how important pitons are and helping the people in terms of come-upons, but making contributions means something different to a lot of people. So that's something I want you to make sure you're focusing on, because that's one of those things we can do everything else right, miss out on them feeling like they're actually contributing to the bottom line. That if we miss that, you know, all this is for naught. So I want to share with you, there's about 5 or 6 years ago, I was on the national staff and kind of working through some forward-thinking stuff, and we came across a white paper by a Navy PhD student, and it was on the auxiliary, and his paper was really looking at the auxiliary, our makeup, how we got to where we are, and also, you know, what do we think we're going to look like 5 or 10 years from now? And quite frankly, the underlying question was, are we going to be around, you know, 5 or 10 years from now? And one of the most interesting chapters in that discussion was, and something that I think we all recognize, that, you know, we're a prototypical example of the 80-20 rule, where, you know, 20% of the stuff or 80% of the stuff that gets done in our organization is, you know, done by 20% of the people. And some of you might argue it's more like 90-10 or 95-5, but you know, we really have that disparity, and that's not unnatural, but we're a pretty working prototype of all that. And when you double click on you know, why people join, you know, they join because either they want to be affiliated, that's really important to them, and that makes up that 80% of people who don't show up to the flotilla meetings and don't really get involved in our you know, our activities. But frankly, they find a lot of enjoyment in just being affiliated with the Coast Guard Auxiliary and the Coast Guard. Gives them something to talk about at Thanksgiving, you know, makes them feel like they're doing something, but, you know, they're never going to step up and really do probably as much as, you know, you and I would like them to do. And that's the 80%. The 20% we'll call, you know, contributors. You know, they're here not so much for affiliation, but really they're here for mastery. They love the idea. The number one reason people join, this paper concluded, the auxiliary, is the love of the training that we offer. That whether they want to learn how to sail, or they want to learn how to teach, or they want to learn more about environmental protection, all the member training and all the opportunities to learn and certify is really a number one attractor for our folks that are going to come in and contribute. And it happens to be the number one reason that why people stay. So, you know, understanding that from a mastery standpoint and that motivator, you know, it's really our best lever when it comes to recruiting and retention. So when you think about some of our tactical priorities, and I'm sure that's number one on most people's books, you know, it emphasizes just how important, you know, MT is. But, you know, back to the discussion here, it's a powerful thing. And it certainly is a major driver for motivation in our world. And then on purpose, and they talk about a purpose motive or a transcendent purpose. You know, that's something that's really caught on the last 10 years, especially in the tech world, where you got these really high flying, you know, distant type of visions. Like I want to put a ding in the universe by, you know, Stephen Jobs, and there's a number of examples of these, but they're really transcendent, and that's something that people can easily understand. It's easily get excited about, because there's no real because it can mean anything, but to the individual. But it does provide kind of a common purpose, and it answers the question of why we're here, no matter how transcendent or how high flying it might be. So I'll ask the group back, and feel free just to chime in. You know, do you believe that the Coast Guard or the Coast Guard Auxiliary has a transcendent purpose? And just unmute yourself and give me your thoughts. Yes or no, or if you think it does, what do you think it is?
Saving people's lives on the water, teaching them how to be better boaters and avoiding accidents.
Yeah, that's why we're here. And is that transcendent enough for you?
It is for me.
I think a lot of people find the just getting back to your affiliated statement, it's always amazed me how many people on Facebook use a profile picture of them in their auxiliary uniform. It has taken over the fundamental purpose of their life, because it's not part of their work. It's not part of dealing with the family. It's what they want to do, and they are looking for something to do.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a powerful thing. So, you know, that purpose piece, and I'm going to show this golden circle again. You know, it's really about answering why. And if you believe in the Cynic approach to things, and I think most people today do, we really got to answer that question and answer it well to get people motivated to take on the skill building and finally to work on their own to make great things happen. And if you go to it's gocoastguard.com, you know, this is what they say. We're a unique branch, and what we're responsible for is saving lives and protecting the environment, defending the coastlines and waterways. You know, that's big. That motivates me. So I think we do have a clear purpose, and saving lives is pretty transcendent. I think would match that definition. Now, you can't use that on the smallest projects. This is kind of an overarching purpose, but you know, the purpose of this is providing a purpose, and providing the answer to why you're asking to do something is really a paramount importance to the three legs of the stool here.
Well, and I'm going to use myself in this example. My purpose for joining the auxiliary was different when I joined than it is now, because of some of the things that I saw and some of the things that I have mastered along the way. So that's how it's been for me. And I think for some people, it's that too. At least that's what I see.
I think that's right. I think most people know what the Coast Guard's about, and they know they're signing up to an organization that is dedicated to saving lives, dedicated to protecting our environment and the waterways. How I get involved in that and how I make an impact, chances are you won't know that until you join and find out, what the 10 or 11 disciplines are. Me, it's pretty clear because I was doing SAR before I got here. I knew I wanted to do SAR when I got here, but now I'm doing a lot more than just that. So to your point, there's a lot to offer here. But anyways, so that I just wanted to reemphasize those 3 points because I think there's what this whole piece is all about. So we're gonna do a quick 10-minute breakout. You just saw the video. We just talked about AMP. Just briefly, if there's any questions or discussion on whether this applies to auxiliary, please have that discussion or whether it's relevant. Obviously, I think it is, but you might have questions or might not quite sure how it applies. So take that on as a group. Assuming that's put to bed quickly or not at issue. I would love to hear you guys come back and share success stories, whether they were intended or unintended in the auxiliary. And what I'm looking for here is that moment where you felt like you're in a collaborative group, you felt like you guys were doing extraordinary things, you're getting good results, and it kind of fits in this whole deal. Was there intentional autonomy and mastery and purpose there, or if it wasn't intentional, was it there between the lines? And talk about how that might have impacted that success story. And then if you've got time, I'd ask you to think about your own personal units. In the unit that you're responsible for, can AMP help? And if you think so, what does your change look like? You as a leader, what can you do to create this motivational environment through autonomy and mastery and purpose? And what do you have to do to change? Whether it's how you do the work, how you treat your people, how you communicate would be what I'm looking for there on number 3. So now we know the slide goes away. So jot down the 3 bullets and we'll meet you back here in 10 minutes.
Okay. You will get a 60-second warning. Once I close the rooms, you'll have 60 seconds to wrap up, and then you'll be back in here automatically. Have
Thanks.
fun. Off to see the wizard. Hey, boss, do you get a or a timer that pops up when I do that? Oh, hang on. Okay, try that again. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah, we're not getting a clock this time, but we are getting the notice that says you got 20 seconds to return to the main room.
Okay, all right. It's either that or I got to go into each room and go, you got a minute left. You got 2 minutes left. So.
Yeah, that was rude. Ann was right in the middle of a sentence.
Yeah, you told us to get kicked out. That came in a minute ago.
You know, my group, we got the 60-second warning.
Yeah.
So,
well, we got a big hook that came out and went yank.
Poor Rick got
like
the
this.
hook.
Yeah. Rudy, turn your lights on. Rudy.
We got the 60-second warning also, and I knew it was going to be cut off. I was just saying we're doing an ABS class online, not for public education, but for all those members who haven't done a voting class in our division.
Good. Okay, so I'm just going to be mindful of our time here. I've got, let's just recap, or I'm sorry, debrief on the breakout. And then I've got just one more slide for you, and that'll be it for tonight. Room 1, talk to me about any success stories you think would be good for the group to hear, and maybe even more entertaining or interesting. Any personal
John, you go for it.
To make change for your group.
Well, I guess I can talk about myself on this one. I had one that happened back in January of 2018 when we had the D train, and my wife and I had to leave on Friday because of some medical issues. But I was in the midst of trying to figure out what to do because I was planning to move to Northern California a few months after that. Obviously, that didn't happen. But what was on the positive side was that I was given the opportunity. Some people twisted my arm really good, Commodore, and made me go with the auxiliary sector coordinator. But that was one of the things that when you talk about not getting pay and then having the opportunity to do these things of the autonomy, the mastery, and the purpose, it fit right in there for me. And of course, I've hung around now into my 3rd year with it. But one of the things that I've noticed, and this didn't come up in our group, but I'm going to say it anyhow, all of the people that we're working with, we are all doing it for non-pay. We're doing it because we want to. We're doing it because we feel there is a purpose for what we're doing, whether it be the basic purpose of saving lives, or if it's just now maintaining ourselves through COVID until we can get back to doing the things that we really want to do. And what I'm really proud of is that I'm starting to hear people asking for more things to do. And finding out what's going on at the sectors and in the stations and what we can do to help them. And we're getting responses. People are getting excited about it. So I think we're seeing a light at the end of the tunnel on that.
I'm actually doing it because Charlie's making me. Not true.
What photographs does he have?
They mentioned there's a number of ways to motivate people. You know, not all
about a German Shepherd and a pickup.
Say again, Charlie?
Something about a German Shepherd and a pickup truck.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, John. Let's go to room 2. Share with us what you guys, what you want to highlight. And again, I'm also interested in if you're willing to share what you think you personally need to do different to incorporate some of these tactics. Room 2.
Mike, Norm, Qua, and Robert.
Yeah, Mike was keeping track. But one of the things that came up, and we're talking about success stories, one of the recent tools that just came up this past weekend was the opportunity for members across the country, any member could look in on the national meeting. And, the surprising part was the few number of people that actually looked in. Here's a case where if you wanted to see anything, if you wanted to learn about the auxiliary, it was a success story laid out in spades. I thought it was fantastic. You know, now that if that can be seen, which I think it can be now, that should be brought up in meetings to get and have it sent out for people to watch. That was, to me, one of the most inspiring things I've seen, particularly Saturday, when I think it was Captain Johnson said 21 stars. I didn't even know what he meant, but that he was adding up the number of stars on the shoulder, I mean, on the lapels of all the admirals that were there. He said, that was phenomenal. Here's a guy in the Coast Guard thought that was the most amazing thing he's seen. That's the type of success story that has to get your blood moving.
Yeah.
And I think it needs to be, sent out.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I wish that was better advertised. I know it all went out, but we probably didn't encourage it like we could. But yeah, it's hugely motivating to see, our leaders there. That implies purpose in its own right, so that they believe in what we're doing, and that sometimes it just doesn't take much more than to show up. Anything else from room 2? Anything you guys want to do different going forward?
It's actually a step before the the AMD, and that is, I think sometimes we don't spend enough time talking in advance to members coming in what's to be expected, and particularly now when we have all of the requirements that need to be taken. It used to almost be a social club back in the 90s. I think that's what would make some of the things we're doing much easier. If we don't go for numbers versus getting people that are service oriented, at least finding out if they are motivated by actually doing something for no reward, so to speak.
Yeah, so I guess I look at that as not necessarily prior to the AMP process, that onboarding process that we don't always do very well, to your point.
Yep.
That's a great opportunity to send the messages around, purpose and what you can do to master something, and kind of give them a feel for how people are successful here in a self-directed style. That's a great opportunity to set that tone. So I would love to see us do more there. All right, let's go to room 3.
Well, we had a good discussion, good group of guys in room 3. Some of the things we talked about is just, filling a void with the Coast Guard. The fact that people are getting personal satisfaction for being here. For some of our folks that have previously served in the military, it gives them another opportunity to serve again, albeit as a volunteer, but they're still serving again. We're hopefully contributing to the greater good by, getting some training from the Coast Guard and helping them out. One of the things that was brought up is, as leaders, one of the things we might be able to ask the people that work for us or report to us is, what do you want from me as the leader? Another thing, the fellowship that is our fourth cornerstone here in the auxiliary. It's great to have that interaction with not only fellow auxiliarists, but even folks from the active duty. And the comment was made that COVID is really hurting these fellowship opportunities. Some groups in the auxiliary, flotillas, they're working on and have worked on creating some online virtual, let's have a good time, talk about things, bring your favorite beverage kind of a situation. And I think more folks in the auxiliary are starting to do that. I think some of the things that we may be able to improve on, or maybe even need to improve on, is the folks that agree to do a job, and the staff positions, and even some of us in the elected side, is if you've taken that position, you need to commit to it and fulfill it. Just don't say, yeah, I'm doing it, and just let things happen. Because that's not necessarily good for the organization. So that's it.
Great. Thank you. Anything else to add from room 3?
Maurice?
I just want to share something, a personal thing that I got a lot of joy out of. And I see this in the auxiliary. When I participated in the Armed Forces Day event 3 years, and I was working with Barb DeCure. And it was really interesting is that when you hear somebody, when you say, hey, we got an event coming up, and they say, I want to participate, and you have a lot of people that participate. And then when you got to do the hard stuff, like we needed watch standers one night to watch the area, and then you hear, I'll do it. To me, that touches my heart when a member says that, because it shows that their heart is involved in doing this stuff. And they don't really care about what time it is. They just say, I'll do it. And this is, I think, what I try to talk about, the personal satisfaction of helping out and doing stuff to save lives, and also helping out with the active duty. So that's something that touches my heart when I hear members do that. It doesn't make a difference what position they are.
Yeah, that's a great story. I mean, the heart's not only the heart's the right place. Clearly, somebody, or maybe a lot of it could be self-directed, but setting up that kind of environment where you're willing to do more than just the fun stuff. You're willing to do the tough stuff because you know it needs to be done. That speaks volumes. Yeah.
Okay, Michael, can I mention something?
Of course.
About a double reward. It'll only take a second. When we did some helicopter training with the helicopter forward base up here, our coxswain was saying, we get nothing but praise after each mission. And we go out there, and it gives us satisfaction to train with them. It's helping, saving lives down the line. But then on top of that, it's not just saying, have a good night, goodbye. These guys just praise us for being able to work with us. And that's so satisfying, isn't it, Maurice? It is very satisfying. Thank you.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, let's go to room 4. You guys got a recap for me?
Brown, Boz, Salvador, and Willem.
Yeah, I think we're saying that we're pretty heavily boat crew involved, and just the satisfaction of being able to assist mariners in distress, and in some cases even, saving lives. There's a great deal of satisfaction you derive from that, knowing that you made a difference to those people. They might have been severely injured or even died otherwise. So that gives us a great deal of satisfaction. And then, Boz, you and I worked together on ABS classes, and just, some of the feedback we get from those, the people are very appreciative, surprisingly enough. Even folks that have been boating for 30 or 40 years, there's a lot of things they didn't know. As far as the mastery goes, just the courses I've been able to take. As I mentioned, when I started, all I knew about a boat was going out in the lake with a fishing pole and beer, and that was about it. And I'm a coxswain now, and I learned all that in the auxiliary. So, being able to master the navigation, doing SAR patterns, commanding the boat, that's all very satisfying, as mentioned. And then I think the one thing we were all concerned about is the purpose is keeping the folks motivated during this COVID shutdown. Because, within my division, it's getting a little tough now and then. People are really itching to get back operational, or, get back doing PATONs or VEs. And they're getting a little discouraged, and just like trying to keep them motivated and help them through the courses they need to take or enhance their skills and stuff. and just, promising them that, we're on the cusp and we are getting operational again. Here's what you need to do to get your orders and stuff. So I think that's a bit of a challenge, and it's just finding out why they joined the auxiliary and what we can help do and keep them motivated.
Yeah, great. Thanks, David. Willem or Sal, anything else to add?
No, actually, yeah, just it was mentioned a little difficulty with the autonomy that one of our colleagues was mentioning. So maybe he can add a little bit more on that. But I mean, the purpose, it's very important. The purpose for us to make the difference and help people and work together as a team. It's very important. That's a big purpose, at least for me. That's it for me.
Thank you. Willem, anything?
Yeah, I just want to add, like I said, the only thing I think very difficult for us is that in that three-prong, the autonomy is the one will be difficult. The purpose and the mastery is it's okay, but autonomy is the one will be difficult.
Yeah. Yeah, great. So, we're a relatively select group here. Clearly, you wouldn't be on this call if you haven't dedicated some time and have some passion for what the Coast Guard and the Coast Guard Auxiliary does. So, it's not surprising that we can't all come up with good examples of how we got motivated, why we're here from a purpose standpoint. We've all mastered something, or else you wouldn't be here, etc. What I would suggest as the takeaway here is not only appreciate that, but as leadership, we should really be embracing the folks that haven't experienced that or need help to reinvigorate why they're here. Really connect with that purpose and show them the way from a mastery standpoint, so that they can be, making a difference and contributing on the ground. COVID's a problem. I get that, but frankly, that's just a leadership challenge. And it's going to be different in every person, every flotilla. What can you do as leaders to help people, stay engaged and stay close to the purpose and why they're here? So that's not homework. You need to be back next time, but I'm hoping you walk away with that to do. Let me grab the screen, share one more slide with you, and we'll get out of here. Okay, so as a recap, if it's not imprinted to the back of your cerebral cortex, we talked about the three things here that are really what it takes to motivate folks. And really the point of this, and to kind of bring this full circle back to our original slide, when you provide an environment that's got, purpose and mastery and autonomy running on all cylinders, that's really what it takes to get extraordinary results. There's a lot of ways to motivate people, not all of them healthy, but to get to extraordinary results and people doing things with a smile and going that extra yard, which is frankly what volunteers is all about. The theory here, these are the three things that all need to be there, whether it's self-created or created and facilitated by a leader. Now, the one thing I want you to note here is, in a recap, I've given you these things in reverse order. We presented these to you in autonomy first, and mastery, then purpose. That was done for another reason than perhaps as an alphabetical order. But there's no implied sequence in how we delivered it to you. And frankly, the point of this study and the theory is all these need to be there. But there is now work being done that maybe there is some wisdom to a sequence of these three things, and I've got to represent it here. And the thought kind of goes like this: the purpose again is all about the why. It's creating the vision. It's what gets people engaged. And once you describe the why, they can intellectually get bought in, and they can believe in the idea and believe in the vision. And frankly, that doesn't take a lot of effort. That's just a a discussion or maybe a 5-minute discussion or a presentation. Takes really no effort on their part other than to connect a few synapses, but needs to be there first to get their passion going. Recognize also that that doesn't last long because it's just that. It's just an intellectual exercise. Then you move into mastery and making sure once you've done the why, move into the how and describe to them, this is, how you can help. And these are the skills you're going to need to help in this certain way, whether it's vessel exams or public education or aircrew, what have you. We've got the training and to get you to the place where you will be able to master what it takes to operate and to fulfill that purpose in whatever way that kind of turns you on. And then you get to the autonomy side. So once you've got a plan, once you've got the skill plan laid out and they're working on that, it's the what. Okay, now here's what we want you to do, and here's how you can help, and try to help them get to a point where it's truly self-directed. Now, some people you can't just give them some direction, give them a bunch of books to read, and off they go. Some people are great with that. Some people are different. Some people may be incredibly good at one thing, but now you're asking them to do something they've never done before, literally. And this is where this leadership style comes in. And we're going to talk about this next month. And the autonomy piece, Willem, to your point, this is oftentimes the hardest piece of this because we oftentimes rely on others on purpose, yet we need to give the right message. And as leaders, hopefully we're getting good at that. Mastery, we've got a curriculum. We've got a very well-defined, career plan, depending on what you want to pursue, coxswain or pursue marine safety, what have you. That's pretty well understood. It's making sure people can get to that. And you can do those things extremely well. But the leadership style and how to treat an individual or a group to get to where they are actually self-directed could be very, very different. And that's almost an art form. And it kind of gets to the notion of when do you coach, when do you mentor, when are hands-on, when are hands-off. And that's something we'll go, a little bit deep on next time. So know that there's a sequence here that I think makes sense, but again, there's no hard and fast rule on how to do that. So that's the recap. This next section we'll do next time, peak performance. As a sneak preview, if anybody comes back and can pronounce this gentleman's name, there'll be a ribbon in it for you. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you for your time, and hopefully you found something there that was helpful to you. I'll hand this back to you, Chris. Trying to stop sharing. Here we go. Oops.
Good job, Boz.
Thank you, Boz.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I've just got a few closing comments. Outstanding job, Boz. As everybody knows, this is a DELA class, Division Elected Leadership Academy. This class is designed for division commanders who are, it's supposed to help them be the best leader they can, and hopefully they'll take some of this information and pass it down to the flotillas. I'm very disappointed in the fact that we've only got 3 division commanders here, 3 out of 9. We picked Sunday night specifically because there seemed to be fewer conflicts than having it during the week. But we've got 3 out of 9. We've got 3 divisions that there's no division commander or vice. So I would like to say thanks to the 5 vices that did show up this evening. But if I look at these 17 people that showed up, 5 of them are on the district bridge. 3 of them are my Commodore's aides. Where's the division commanders? Where's the people that need this class? This is what would gear this class for. I don't know, maybe, are they tired of the DELAs? So I'm looking for some suggestions, and one might be, should we open this thing up to flotilla commanders and see what happens? I don't think we're going to get 50, but we might have 20 or 30 flotilla commanders that'll give it a try. And that might help us identify some of those folks that we don't know much about. But right now, we're leaving tonight. We've got nobody here. I can say the divisions because they're not here. Nobody here from Division 10, nobody here from Division 6, nobody here from Division 11. So who's going to pass this down to those flotilla commanders? So I don't know, anybody have any ideas, suggestions?
Well, Charlie, and again, not providing excuses, but there's a couple examples where people let me know ahead of time that they couldn't make it tonight. And in the same breath, they asked if it was going to be recorded. So I'll make sure those folks that didn't make it tonight will have the recording so that they're current and hopefully can put things together next month.
Right, yeah, no doubt about it. I did talk to Dave Walker and Rod Donahue as well. And you expect that you're going to have a few people miss. But when we have 18 division leaders and only 8 show up, that's just not good. And so I don't know that every one of them has an excellent excuse. But the fact remains, it would be nice to have some of those people here. Yeah, they can watch it on YouTube. But the best part of this thing, Boz, was the interaction. And so they're not getting that. Let me ask, we got another decap here. Mike Fiamengo, what do you think about opening this up to flotilla commanders?
I
can tell you,
have reservations.
A lot of them aren't ready. A lot of them don't care. But if we can identify a dozen that have kind of been down in the weeds,
maybe on an invitation basis.
Let the division commanders decide.
Yeah.
If I can chime in, I like that approach. It gives the division commanders to, a pat on the back to the upcoming FCs to help prepare them for the next role, and it suggests a privilege to be here. And maybe
they might choose to open it up to open it up to second year flotilla commanders that may be stepping up next year.
Another idea is that for those that have already taken lambs, this builds on it, what we're doing here.
Yeah, so this class was outstanding, and it will be next month as well. Last month, Ann gave an outstanding class, but if we're missing half of our target audience, we somehow have to find a way to get every division involved.
Commodore, if I might, I've spent many years teaching the Flotilla Commander Academy for Division 6. And one of the things that I found year after year is that for the brand new flotilla commanders, there's a lot that they have to learn on how to run the flotilla and how to make everything work. I think that from the division commander and above and what you're doing here for all of the elected officials, that's 3 steps ahead of where the brand new flotilla commander is. Right. And if we're going to take time to ask them to come to things, I think should be a Flotilla Commander Academy presentation that can be done in a few evenings instead of 10 or 12. But to ask them to come and sit through this too, I think would be almost be counterproductive. The second year flotilla commanders, yes, I agree 100% because we're looking at them to move on up.
Yeah, I kind of like that idea. Maybe second year. That way we're not going to have 60 people, which it might be difficult to use breakout rooms for 60 people as well.
Right. I think John's idea is a good idea. I think having the flotilla commanders here that are in or just starting their second year, I think would be really productive for them and for the leadership above to see who is up and coming and be able to identify the people that are going to be good leaders.
And this is going to help us with succession planning and help them with succession planning. It's something that's very important. I know the Commodore and I discuss it all the time. And hey, division commanders that are here after 2 years or you're in your second year, you got to have someone to follow you up. Our decaps need to have somebody to follow them up. So, I know we have some motivated people out there who want to be in the succession planning, but down at the flotilla level and even in some divisions, that succession planning isn't going very well at all.
No. You know, this having virtual meetings, a lot of good has come out of that. One of them is that Rick and I have been able to attend a lot of division meetings. And usually when we do, we'll get on the phone as soon as the meeting is over. And I'll say to Rick, who was that guy? And we're talking about a specific guy. And he'll say, I never heard of him before, but boy, he was impressive. It's an opportunity to see how people act in meetings that you would never see if it wasn't for virtual meetings. So like Randy said, this is an idea. See who is an up and comer. There's so many openings we have now that we should fill. We're looking for ADSOs. We don't have a single ADSO in member training because we just don't know any people. This might be a good opportunity for us as senior leaders to identify some people that can fill those roles, as well as, like Rick said, for succession planning.
Charlie, you're aware, we're all aware this is still being recorded.
Yes.
Is this part to go out also?
I don't see why not. You see any reason why this can't go out, Rick?
No,
Just asking.
We're just stating just some of the things that are going on in our organization here in D11 South.
Yeah, we're not naming any names, Ann.
Oh, phooey.
Yeah, we're all in this together.
We are.
Commodore Harshfield, you have anything to say?
No. I would suggest getting the flotilla commanders involved and see who replies. By having it where they have to register, it gives you the list of people that were supposed to show up, and you can kind of see who replies back and said, you know, when I was a flotilla commander, stuff that happened at the district level was like, oh, that's for the muckety mucks. It's not for me. I'm just a lowly flotilla commander, even a first year. You know, going to D-Train. Oh, well, that's for the district people. That's for the muckety mucks, the stripe, you know, large stripes, a lot of stripes. So maybe you need to get the flotilla commanders involved, and what do you got to lose?
Absolutely.
They don't show up. If they don't show up, I personally would send it out to every flotilla commander. If it annoys the division commanders, I'm sorry, but that's what I would do. I would say send it out to all the flotilla commanders and see what falls out of the tree.
And we know, and it's been proven over and over, that most flotilla commanders have no desire to go up any further. And that's fine. And they probably wouldn't want to attend this. But there may be a few that want to move up the chain, and they would look at this as a good learning experience. So I don't think we have anything to lose. So I will discuss this independently with the DCAPs over the next few days, and we'll make a decision before the next meeting. Anything else, Boz?
I'm all good. I just wanted to let Ann know that it's tough shoes to fill, tough act to follow. I was motivated, and hopefully we got some work done tonight. And look forward to seeing you guys next month.
Great.
Do you want to set a time for this right now, for next month?
I think we have a date already. Let's see here.
Not unless you tell me you don't.
March 21.
You gave me March 21st.
Yeah, March 21st.
All right. Same time?
Yep, 6 p.m.
All right. I will send out the thing 2 weeks ahead. I'll send you the link tonight, Charlie, and you can send it out whenever you think it's appropriate.
Okay.
If you want to do the flotilla commanders, maybe a month's worth of notice with a 2-week follow-up might be the trick.
Boz, since these people that might attend next time missed this first class, is that a problem?
No, and I guess what I would ask you to do, if we're going to invite new folks, make sure that they got the recording available so they can at least breeze through what we went through tonight.
Read what we did.
But all connect at the end here.
Yep. Okay. Anything else? Anyone?
Good night.
Okay, with that,
Good night.
Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, we're ending.
Yeah.
I second, I third it.
All right.
Randy.
You
Thanks
got
for
it.
looking at you, man.
Good night.
All right. Thanks all. Have a
Bye-bye.
good night.
Okay.